Welcome to SegaShiro.com. I'm DJ FobFresh, and today we're looking at Deadalus and Robotica, released very early on in the Sega Saturn lifespan. This was released March 25th, 1995 in Japan, and it was developed by Sega, published by Sega, and the designer was Micronet. And unlike some of the other games we've recently reviewed on the site, this is definitely one that I do not enjoy. I do not find great. However, the reception is mixed. Some players have praised the game for its music, atmosphere, and storyline. It definitely has a dark, creepy feeling. But on the other end, and this is where I sit, other people have complained that it's sort of an endless corridor shooter, and it's repetitive and boring. You see a lot of the same textures again and again. And there's really no narrative to speak of. I mean, there is a story, however, throughout the game progression, you only get very small tidbits. And I guess the number one thing about this game is that it is super, super repetitive. So let's take a minute to look at some of the positives of this game. And in my opinion, there are a few, but there are some. One, you play as a mech armor, and you have 4 weapons at your disposal: the Vulcan, a laser, a homing missile, and your punching arm. And all of these can be upgraded throughout the game as you play, which is a nice touch. I mean, obviously, if you're going to grind this hard, you need to be able to level up. You also have generator abilities, and one is Refresh, which allows you to recover your shield. You have a Plasma Barrier, which is a manually launched shield, and a Blaze Layer, which can destroy every single one of your enemies in a single room as soon as you launch that, but that takes up a lot of your generator energy. Now, graphically, the game, you know, your actual guns and the textures that are there, even though they repeat so often, aren't so bad. They're actually decently modeled. Your movement and control is actually surprisingly well, considering you're just controlling it with a D-pad. However, you find that you may get stuck on things as you turn corners and move through the area. So while the style and art might be appealing to some, the actual texture resolution on some of the background elements is rather poor. The music is decently atmospheric and nice, and I can see why some people might enjoy that. However, I mean, this game has been outdone by many, many other games since its time. In fact, there's a lot of first-person shooters on the Sega Saturn that are far better than this one. In fact, surprisingly, the Sega Saturn wasn't a bad first-person shooter console back in, you know, the 32-bit era. Now, this game can be imported for rather cheap, probably because it is such crap, and you might find a little bit more trouble finding the US version than the Japanese version, actually. You know, the screens of this game and the video of this game might intrigue you. However, let me just tell you that after 20 minutes, 15 minutes of playing this, you're going to want to turn your console off, you're going to throw it out the window, you're going to want to beat yourself silly with the Sega Arcade steering wheel, which is really what you don't want to do. I mean, Sega Saturn is a much better console than this game shows. So my final thought about this game is this is not even worth having on your wall for a collection item. It's very, very repetitive. It's got 30 levels, and you pretty much do the same thing in every single one. You know, the one change up they do over the course of the game is then they shut off all the lights, which makes it even worse. This is DJ FobFresh from SegaShiro.com, playing bad games so you don't have to. And if you're on the site, please check out some of our sponsors. That will keep us bringing you great content, bringing you a great resource that, you know, the internet doesn't have. Alright, other than that, keep on gaming.